Now, before I get into the process of factoring a trinomial in its standard form, I want to address a second type of problem, and it's something called the diamond problem. Okay, what a diamond problem is, now we do just that, we draw a diamond, and we're going to try to figure out we have a number on the top of our diamond and a number on the bottom of the diamond. And what we're going to put in these remaining two spots here are two numbers. And the two numbers together, when we multiply them together, are going to equal 12. When we add them together, they're going to equal 7. Okay? So what two numbers, when multiplied together, equal 12, and when added together equal 7? Well, one way we can do this, we look at our factors of 12, and specifically the factor pairs. What numbers do we multiply to get to 12? Well, 1 and 12. But you add those together, that's 13. 2 and 6, we multiply those together, that equals 12. When we add them together, we get 8. Or we have 3 and 4. We multiply 3 and 4 together and 12. When we add them together, bingo, 7. Okay, so that would be how we could complete that problem. So that would be a diamond problem. What if, give another example here. What if we had 36 up here and 15 down there? Okay. So our charge is to find the two numbers to put in here that when multiplied together equal 36, that when added together equal 15. Okay. Well, let's start looking again at the factor pairs. We have 1 and 36. Well, that's not it because we add those together, we get 37. What's another one we can have? We can have 2 and 18. Multiply together, that gives us 36, yes, but when added together, it gives us 20. How about 3 and 12, when multiplied together, gives us 36, and there we go. When added together, gives us 15. So 3 and 12 would be how we finish that diamond problem. So on your homework tonight, there's going to be, I think it's 5 or 6 of these diamond problems to figure out. You'll also see posted an extra credit diamond problem assignment that you can do for 5 points extra credit. It'll count as an additional homework assignment, but out of 0. So you get 5. You'll be able to add 5 bonus points to your homework score. Okay. So be looking for that. Those are diamond problems, and they come in useful when we try to figure out factoring a trinomial in standard form. What is the standard form of a trinomial? Okay, remember a trinomial is a polynomial with 3 terms. Standard form is going to be ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Okay, that's our standard form. Okay, a, b, and c are the coefficients. Okay. So if we're looking at, say, 5x squared plus 3x minus 7 equals 0, what would our a, b, and c be? A would be 5. B would be 3, and C would equal -7, okay? This is the big deal right here. This is the standard form that you kind of need to have memorized. ax squared plus bx plus c. If you remember when we were back in, with linear functions, we had slope-intercept form, we had point-slope form. This is standard form of a trinomial, second-degree trinomial, meaning our first term is raised to the second power. Our standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Okay, so here is the standard form of a trinomial again, and what we're trying to do is factor this. Okay, so if you remember when we were factoring the difference of squares, we ended up with 2 sets of parentheses with an x term and a number inside there. We want to do the same thing here. We're going to end up with x plus a number times x plus a different number, okay? It could be plus or minus, I should say. It's x plus or minus some number, x plus or minus a different number. Well, how do we get there, okay? And this is where that diamond problem comes into play. So I'm going to put an example here. X squared plus 2x minus 15, okay? Now, do you remember when I told you that ax, bx, and c, These are the coefficients, A, B, and C. Okay. So what does A equal? 1. Right. What does B equal? 2. And what does C equal? Negative 15. Okay. So when we're setting up our diamond problem for this one, okay, what you want to have is two numbers that multiply to give you C, and when added together give you B. Every single time. That's the setup. Okay, we want to find two numbers that when multiplied together are going to give us C, when added together give us B. So let's find what those two numbers are. So we're going to start by taking the factors of negative 15. Okay, so we can have negative 1 and 15. When those are multiplied together, they give us negative 15. Or we could have positive 1 and negative 15. Those multiplied together also would give us negative 15. How about we add them together? Negative 1 plus 15 is 14. That's not what we're looking for. I should replace my C and B here real quick. What was my C? Negative 15. What was my B? 2. Okay, so I add negative 1 to 15, I get 14. That's not 2. If I add 1 to negative 15, I get negative 14. Well, that's not it. Okay, let's keep going. If 2 doesn't go into it, but 3 does. So 3 and negative 5, or negative 3 and 5. 3 times negative 5 does equal negative 15. Negative 3 times 5, that equals negative 15. How about when I add these together? 3 plus a negative 5, well, that gives me negative 2. That's not 2. Negative 3 plus 5, that gives us a positive 2. That's what we want right there. So our two numbers are going to be negative 3 and 5. And why do we complete this diamond problem like this? Because what we end up with is, this is our first number of K1, and that's our second number of K2. So when we factor this out, we're going to replace that with its sign. Okay, so it's going to, K1 is going to be a negative 3. K2 here is going to be a positive 5. Okay. So when we factor x squared plus 2x minus 15, okay, we get x minus 3, x plus 5. I'm going to go ahead and write this trinomial up here, x squared plus 2x minus 15. When we factored that, it became x minus 3, and x plus 5. So let's FOIL this just to see how we did. Okay, so I am going to first multiply the first terms. I get x squared. Then I'll multiply the last terms. So x times 5, that's 5x. Inside terms, negative 3 times x is a negative 3x. And then negative 3 times 15 is negative 15. Okay, let's combine our like terms. We have a positive 5x and a minus 3x. What does that give us? X squared plus 2x minus 15. We're right back to where we started. Okay, so we know that we've factored this correctly. Okay, so why do we factor these things? Okay, don't remember these are equal to 0. Okay, we want to find the solutions of this equation. What I mean by solutions, if when we graph this, and we'll get into this later, it's going to be a parabola like this. Where's it going to cross the x-axis? At our solution points. Okay. To find our solution, we set each one of these equal to 0. Okay. See how this entire equation is equal to 0? So we're going to set each of the individual parts equal to 0. So x minus 3 equals 0, or x equals a positive 3 after we add 3 to both sides. Over here, x plus 5 equals 0, or after subtracting 5 from each side, we get x equals negative 5. These are our solutions. Okay. So if you came across a question, let's find the solutions to this equation right here. We factor it. We set our factors equal to 0. We get x equals 3 and x equals negative 5. Let's try one more example here. Okay, let's try x squared minus 2x minus 35 equals 0. All right, we have to make sure it's written in standard form. Ax squared minus bx minus c equals 0. Fantastic. We're in standard form here. So what's our a? It's our coefficient that goes along with x squared, or 1. What's our b? That's our coefficient with our x term, which is -2. And what's our c? That's our number here with its sign, -35. So let's set up our diamond problem and find out what multiplies to get our c of -35. And when we add those together, produce -2. So we start looking at our factors of -35. We have 1 and -35, -1 and 35. So we multiply these together, we do get -35, but 1 plus a -35, that's a -34, and -1 plus 35, well, that gives us 34. So we're not there yet. 2 doesn't go into 35, neither does 3, neither does 4, 5 does. 5 goes into -35, so we'll have -5 times 7, or we'll have a +5 times -7. If we add -5 to 7, we get a +2. We're not there yet. But if we add 5 to -7, there we go. That gives us our -2. So here is our K1 and our K2. So let's put that in our factor form. So we'll have x plus 5, and then we'll have x minus 7. All of that equals 0. Remember, we set each little set of parentheses now equal to 0. So x plus 5 equals 0, and x minus 7 equals 0. After subtracting 5 from each side, x will equal a -5 over here, and after adding 7 to both sides, x equals 7 here. So there are your solutions for that example. Okay. So hopefully that helps. So let's go to your homework. There's 6 diamond problems on there, and then there's 6 equations in standard form that you'll need to factor down and find the solutions to. And don't forget that there is that extra credit assignment on the diamond problems if you want to do that as well. Okay, so go to your homework and email me if you have any questions.